Hello kids, welcome to another episode of Scratch. It's still your Scratch tutor, Ijoma. So today we are going to be looking at users input and sensing. So let's begin. User input and sensing blocks. These are two important features that make Scratch projects engaging and fun. Okay? So user input means allowing the player to type something into the project, like their name or a number. The ask and wait block helps achieve this. Okay, so we're going to do a project named asking for player's name to enable us to understand how user input works. Right, so this is how our project will look like when we are done creating it. So let's review the steps we're going to take. The first step, we'll go to the sprite icon and then we'll choose Sprite, and the sprite we'll be using for this project is David. Okay, so the step 3, using the when green flag is click block, we'll drag and we'll drop in the script area. Then the step 4, we're using the switch costume to. Okay, then we're going to change the costume of David to B, because David have up to 4 costumes. Okay, so we'll change it to B. That's the look we want it to have for the beginning of the project. Step 5, we use the ask and wait block. Okay, you can find it in your sensing block palette. Alright, then step 6, we're going to use set my variable block. Okay, you get it in variables block palette. Then the step 7, we go to our sensing block palette, and then we look for answer block. We drag and place it right inside the set my variable block, as you can see. Alright, then the 8th step is the switch costume to the even A. That's the block we'll be using next. We drag and we drop, and then the last block we'll be using here is the say hello for 2 seconds block. Okay, we'll drag it and drop it in our script area, then we'll make some changes, as you can see on the image right here. Now we're going to Scratch so we can do it together. Right, let's go. Okay, this is our Scratch. Alright, now we'll be deleting our default cat, because we're not going to use the cat for this particular project. So let's delete the cards. We'll click here. Let's look for David in our Sprite library. Let's click on people. That will enable us find it. Okay. We'll go down. Where is David? Okay, David is right here. Let's click on it. Alright, David is right here on our stage. Can you see him? Okay, now I need to change David's costume. Or let's start coding. We'll do that with the change costume block. Come to our event, and then we'll choose the when green flag is click block. We'll drag and drop. Then we'll look for switch costume. As now looks black. Okay, can you see? Switch costume to David D. Let's drag and drop. We're going to change it to David B. Okay, let's check out David B. Alright, this is David B. Okay, where David is standing as though he's thinking. You see that? And then let's go back to our code. Alright, so the third step we're going to choose is the ask and wait. Come to your sensing block. You look for your ask block. Can you see that? You drag and you drop it right under this block. Okay, so the 4th block we'll be using is we go to our variables. Okay, and then we need to type in a variable here. First, we're not going to use my variable, so we need to type it in to create the particular variable we're going to use. So we're going to type in here player's name. So the player is you, but right here I'm your tutor, so I'm the player now. So I'm going to type in player's name. You see that? Click on OK. Alright, now it's here. Can you see the variable we just created? Alright, then we'll come here and we'll choose set my variable, to drag it and we'll drop it right here. Then you click on this arrow down. Can you see where I'm clicking? Alright, then you change it to player's name. Now our variable block is right there on the stage. Can you see it? Alright, so now we'll go to our sensing block again. Then we'll choose our answer block. We'll drag and we drop it on top of this 0. Can you see that? We'll drop it right here. You see? Set player's name to answer. Alright, so the fifth block we're going to use is switch costume block. Okay, come to our looks and then we'll drag and we'll drop. Alright, switch costume to the even D. Okay, yeah, we're going to click on this arrow down and change it to the even A, because that's what we want the even to switch to. Alright, then we'll drag our say hello for 2 seconds block and we drop it right here. Alright, so we're going to type in hello Miss Ijoma. Can you see that? So David is going to say hello to me when I click the green flag. He'll ask me what's my name, and then I'm going to type in my name. Okay, and then he now says hello to me. So the name I'm going to type is Miss Ijoma. That is why I typed in Ijoma here. Okay, so now we're going to click on the green flag to start. Alright, you see that David asked what's your name. Now let me answer him. Typed in Miss Ijoma. So once I click on this good right here, you see what happened. You see, it changed to Miss Ijoma, and David said hello Miss Ijoma. Okay, you can type in your own name as you're creating the project. You use your name, and then David or any other sprite that you choose will say hello to you. Alright, okay, let's expand our screen and play it again. Click on the green flag and say hello Miss Ijoma. Okay, hello Miss Ijoma. So this is how you can also use your speech bubbles, okay, to make 2 sprites converse. Right, now go back to our slide to see what we have next. So this is the project we just created. Now let's move on to the next thing we have here. Now we are moving on to sensing blocks. Alright, so sensing blocks allow Scratch projects to dictate and respond to players' action, like mouse movement, touching the color, or touching another sprite. Okay, so this block makes the sprite follow the mouse pointer around the screen. Alright, now we're going to create a project. Let's create a project with the mouse pointer. This mouse pointer is a block. You can find it in your block palette. Okay, so in this project we are going to make a sprite, a beach ball. we're going to use a beach ball sprite for this project, okay? To move and stamp in the direction of our mouse pointer. Now I'm going to introduce you to a new block palette that we have not talked about in our previous project, okay? So I will introduce you to that particular block palette called pen, but that will be during our practical. Alright, let's move on. Now this is what our project is going to look like by the time we are done. Let's look at the steps to be taken. So the step 1, we're going to choose a sprite. Alright, we're going to choose our beach ball. And the step 3, we're going to use our wing flag split. Okay, step 4, we use our forever block. Okay, and you set it just as I'm saying right there. Then step 5, go to our motions and then we drag, go to random position. Okay, that random position, that arrow down, that is where you can find your mouse pointer. Okay, when you click down there, you will find your mouse pointer, but you see it when you start in the practical. Okay, the last step here is your stamp block. Okay, you drag it and you drop it right inside forever. I'll show you how you can get your stamp block during the practical. Alright, let's go back to Scratch and then create the project together. Now we're done. These are our first project. Let's save it. Click on the file, then save it to your computer. It's saved right there, okay? Alright. Now let's create a new project. Okay. That's it. Now we're going to delete our default cat. Can you see that? Alright, let's go to a Sprite library and look for beach ball. Okay, beach ball is right here. You click on it, then keep it right here. Then go to our events. Click on wing reflex. Select, drag and drop it here. Then we'll go to our control. Look for forever. We'll drag and drop it right here. Okay. Then we go to our pen. You know how I get this pen? I got this pen by clicking here. You click right here. Okay. You see all these are other block palettes. Alright, but for now we're using pen. So let's click on pen. The pen is right here reading. Okay, we click on pen. Okay, see stamp, we drag and we drop it right inside here. So now you come to your motions block and you look for go to. Okay, you drag and you drop it right inside the forever loop. Then you click on this pointing down arrow right here, and then you change it to mouse pointer. Okay, can you see that? I want to show you something. Let's bring out this stamp. Okay, now without the stamp, if you play your project, this is what will happen. Your sprite will just be moving around with the mouse pointer. Okay, can you see? Alright, let's stop and then add back our stamp so that you see the difference and the function of the stamp. Okay, let's play. Now you see what will happen. Can you see that? He's stamping as he's moving. Okay, stamping as he's moving. You see? You see? Alright, let's press. So that's it for mouse pointer. Okay, It moves around anywhere your mouse is, it goes there. It moves around together with your mouse. So now let's go back to our slide to see the next thing we have there. Now here is the project we just finished now. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so the next slide we have touching a color. The touching color block in Scratch is a sensing block that helps a sprite detect when it touches a specific object. Okay, or a specific color. So we'll be doing a project now. Let's create a project with touching color block. In this project, we're going to make a sprite, a cat, move and touch a color. You use color red, then say, yay, I touched color red. Okay, so here's the step we're going to take. This is how our project will look like when we are done. So the step 1 will be to choose, because here we're not going to choose a sprite, because we're going to use our default sprite, which is already there in our Scratch interface. Alright, so we're going to choose a backdrop, but here we're not going to choose the backdrop that is there in the sprite library. We're going to choose paint. Okay, we click on the paint icon and then we're going to draw our own backdrop, okay, for this project. Alright, as you can see, we'll draw a red color circle where our sprite is going to reach. Alright, so the first block we'll be using is when green flag is clicked, as you can see. The second block we'll be using is the forever loop, and the third block we'll be using is move 10 steps. The fourth block we'll be using is next costume. Our next block is wait 1 second block. Okay, the next block we'll be using is if then loop. Alright, the next block we'll be using is touching color block. The next one is the say hello block, which you're going to type in, yay, I touched color red. Our sprite is going to say once you reach the color red. Alright, so now we go to Scratch and create the project together. Okay, let's go to Scratch. Alright, here is the project that we just created. Let's save it. Alright, click on file and you can save it to your computer. And I'm creating a new project. Alright, okay, so here our cat is here already. So let's scroll up. Okay, come to this backdrop area. Alright, you see, now we click on paint. Alright, to draw our own backdrop. Okay, click on this rectangle and then we'll draw a rectangle here. Okay, let's extend it to the edge. Can you see? Alright, but we don't want our backdrop to be red, so we're going to change it to white. We need a white backdrop. Alright, the backdrop is white. So now let's click on circle, then we get color red. Color red. Alright, now we're going to draw a circle. Let's draw a circle. Can you see that? Alright, so let's pick our select so we can move it around. We'll drag it and we'll drop it right here. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? This is the position I want our red circle to take. Okay, yeah, now our backdrop is ready, so let's go back to code. Okay, we'll bring our cart and we'll place it right here. You see that? Now let's code to tell our sprite what to do. To events, click when green flag is clicked, drag and drop here. Okay, then we'll look for wherever loop. Here's our forever loop. We drag it and we'll drop it right here. Then you see that. Then we'll click on move 10 steps. Okay, this is going to make our sprite move. Okay, then we'll look for our next costume block, which you can find in your looks. You drag it and you drop it inside the forever loop. And you see what I'm doing. This is going to make our cat look like it's moving, as you can see in our previous project. Okay, and then you come right here and you go to controls, pick, you drag this weight block and you drop it right here. Then you change the seconds to 0.3. Not bad. Alright, that's to make our sprite move. And you see our sprite is working. So we're not done yet. Let's take our cat back to its normal position. Now we go to our controls again, look for if then loop. We drag it and drop it inside the forever loop. Okay, now we'll go to sensing blocks. Alright, let's look for touching color, because that's what we're doing. You see, you drag your touching color and you drop it, you see, in this space right here in the if then loop. You drop it there. Alright, now the color here is orange, so we're not using orange color. We want to set this color to be red. So to do that, you click on this orange color. Okay, you see the drop down. Now for us to get the exact shade of the color, because I might choose a color here and it will not be the same color as the one we used here. So what we are going to do is we click on this tiny icon, paint icon right here. See where I'm hovering? You click on it. Alright, then you move your mouse to the stage and get the exact color. You see, I placed this circle on top of this red circle to get the exact shade of color I'm looking for. Click on it. You see that now the orange color has changed to red and is the exact red on our stage. That's what we want, right? Alright, now we'll go to our looks. Okay, and we get our say hello block. Get it, we drag and we drop it right here. Now we're going to change this hello to what we want our cat to say. So let's delete the hello. Okay, and we'll type in yay. Can you see that you add your exclamation mark? Okay, yay, I touched color red. I touched color red. Yeah, I touched color red. Can you see that? So our sprite is going to work, and once it touches the red color, it's going to say what you just typed in here. Okay, now we're going to extend. Let's expand our stage and then we play and see what happens. Alright, our cat is moving. As you can see, yeah, it got to the color red and it did exactly what we asked it to do. You see that? So that's it. Now we'll return back to our slide to see the next thing we have there. Alright, so this is the project we just created right now. So let's move on to the next slide. So the next slide is what is touching a sprite block. Okay, the touching sprite block helps a sprite dictate when it collides or comes into contact with another sprite. Okay, when two sprites touches each other, when they come in contact, then you command it, you program it on what you want it to say. Okay, so we're going to do another project. Okay, the project that we're going to do now is this project we're going to make a sprite Avery. We'll be using Avery for this particular project. We'll make her touch another sprite, which is the Avery 2. Okay, we'll use one Avery and then we're going to duplicate Avery 1. Then the second Avery will be the Avery 2. Alright, so when Avery 1 touches Avery 2, she'll say ouch, you touched me. Okay, and Avery 2 is going to say, oh, I'm sorry, with a speech bubble. Okay, we're going to perform that using speech bubbles. Right, so this is how the project will look like by the time we are done. And here are the steps we're going to take. The first step is choosing a sprite. Of course, we're going to choose Avery walking, because we have two Avery in the sprite library. We have the normal Avery and we have the Avery walking. So we want Avery to walk, so we're going to use the Avery walking. Okay, and then we'll choose a backdrop. The backdrop we'll be using is the boardwalk backdrop. Alright, after that we code. The first code we'll be using is when green flag is clicked. The second code is the forever. Third code is the move 10 steps. Okay, and then the fourth code is the next costume block. Okay, the next code is the weights block. And the next code is if then loop. Okay, we place it inside the forever loop. Alright, the next code we'll be using is touching Avery 2. And the next code we'll be using is say hello for 2 seconds. Alright, so after we are done, we then click on the first Avery from the sprite area. We'll click on it and then we'll duplicate, making it 2 Averys on our stage. Alright, when we are done, this is what we're going to have. Alright, now we'll go back to Scratch. Okay, let's go back to Scratch to do a practical aspect of what I just showed you. Here is the project we just finished now. We didn't click a stop. Alright, you can go ahead and save it in your computer. Alright, so for me, I'll be creating a new project. Okay, you can create a new project. Alright, for this particular project, we'll be deleting the cart. We don't need the cart for this project, so let's delete the cart. And yes, alright, now let's go to our sprite area and look for Avery walking. She's right here. Click on it. Yeah, she's here on the stage already. Can you see that? Let's position her here. Okay, then we'll go to our backdrop area. Let's look for, click on outdoors, so we can alright see our boardwalk here. Click on it, is right here. Now we're going to place Avery on top of the board. Alright, you see that? Okay, now we are going to code. Let's go and code. Come to our events, click on it, drag, and you drop. Okay, then we'll look for our forever loop. Now firstly, let's go to our motions. We want Avery to start working from this particular position. So this particular position automatically is here. So we just have to drag the block and drop it here without making any changes. Okay, I will come to your controls. You look for forever loop, it's right here. We drag and we drop it here. Can you see that? Then go to our motions, look for move 10 steps. See that? Move 10 steps. We drag it and we drop it here. Okay, look for next costume, because we need to make her work. So we're going to take the same process over again. Drag it and we drop it inside the forever loop. Then we'll look for our weights block, okay, to control the speed of Avery while she's working, because we don't want her to walk too fast or too slow. So let's program her to walk at 0.3 seconds. So it will be switching costume each 0.3 seconds. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to look for the if then loop. It's right here. Drag it and drop it inside the forever loop. Okay, can you see that? Now let's go to our sensing block palette. We'll click on it and then we'll look for touching mouse pointer. We drag and we drop. You see, now when we duplicate this Avery, that's when we're going to get another option right here. So I'll still come back to it to show you that it automatically appears there. So Scratch is actually very good. They update you on what you're doing without stress, so you don't have to stress yourself while coding. Okay, so now we're going to look for our say hello. Let's come to our looks. We'll drag say hello for 2 seconds. Now it's not going to say hello for 2 seconds. We're going to program it to say hello for a second, and it's not going to say hello. We're going to change this hello to ouch, you touched me. Okay, now let's type it in. Ouch, see that? You touched me. You touched me. You see? That's when the two ivories will collide. Once they touch each other, then everyone is going to make this comment. Okay? Now it's time to duplicate. You come right here. Can you see where I'm hovering? This is your sprite area. You click on this ivory walking. Okay? Click on it. Once you click on it, you right click actually. Then you click on duplicate. You see we have three right here. We have duplicate, we have export, and we have delete. We don't want to delete, we don't want to export, so we're going to duplicate. Now ivory is 2 on the stage. Can you see that? So now this second ivory, let's position her the way we want her to be. She's right here and she's facing here. We don't want her to face here. We want her to be coming from this part of the stage, and we want the first ivory to be coming from this part of the stage, okay, so that they will collide in the middle. Alright, now we're going to turn her around. We'll come here, you drag this arrow and you make her face here. But do you notice something? Ivory is upside down even while facing the second ivory. We don't want that, right? So we click on here, we click here, and then we point at this arrow, this right arrow right here. You see we have the left and we have the right, so you're clicking on the right arrow to turn her. Can you see? Wow. Okay, she's not facing ivory 1. This is ivory 2, right? This is ivory 2. Now let's go back to ivory 1 to go and change the mouse pointer there. Okay, this is ivory 1. So we have touching mouse pointer. Click on the down arrow. Can you see ivory walking to is right here? Scratch updated it for us because we added another ivory. So that's why we have this option. When there is no other sprite on the stage, the option will not be there. So click on it. Alright, if touching ivory 2, then say ouch. You see that? Alright, then we'll go to ivory 2 and we'll change it to, because it has a mouse pointer, because we duplicated it, so automatically it has the first code of the first ivory. Come here and then we'll choose ivory walking. Okay, we'll choose it. So we want this one to say another thing, a different thing from what ivory 1 said. This is ivory 2, right? So ivory 1 said ouch, you touched me. So ivory 2 is going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, see that? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, that's because we use a capital I. Can you see that? But we want this ivory to wait, because if you don't add another action here, we need to add another option here, because if you don't, when everyone will be saying ouch, you touched me, ivory 2 will be saying oh, I'm so sorry. But we need to make ivory 2 wait for everyone to finish talking before she can now apologize. Okay, the first ivory will say I'm sorry. So now we're going to add a wait block here. Okay, let's see the timing in the first ivory. Okay, we timed the first ivory to talk for 1 second. Okay, so now in ivory 2 we'll go to our wait block. Our wait block is in the controls. We'll drag the wait block and we'll drop it right here. So it's already 1 second, so you don't have to change not change anything here. It's already 1 second, and we want her to wait for 1 second before apologizing to RV2. I mean RV1, right? Alright, so that is it. I think our project is ready now. Let's go and play. Let's go and play. Oh, we didn't change something. We need to change something. We need to change something in RV2. Okay, because this location here is the location of RV1. This position where RV1 is, that's right here. So we need to change it to the location that RV2 is standing. You see this location, that's where we want our project to start once we click the green flag. So now we are going to remove this block. Okay, we're going to remove that block and we'll change it. So this position now should be like that. In our motions should be set already for us. Can you see? It's already there. It's already there for us. So we'll click on it and now we'll delete this block. We don't need it anymore. We just changed it. Now our project is ready. Let's go and play. Let's play. You see the two are here now, okay? Yeah, okay. Now they touched each other. Ouch, she touched me. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know why it's repeating? Because as it's passing the second avenue, they keep colliding. Once it stops colliding, they stop talking. You see? Have you seen that? It's continued immediately. That's how we programmed it to be. Now you can see our project is set. Okay? Let's go back and click on the red button. You see, if you start playing again, it begins from where we want it to. Can you see that? Alright, let's click on the red button and then we'll go back to our slide. Okay, alright, here is the project we just created. Okay, let's see. Whoa, and today's class is over. I'll see you in our next class. Okay, and then as I always say, Scratch is all about creating new things, being creative, from thinking out new ideas. Okay, trying out different. We have a lot of things in Scratch. Okay, you can go there, go back to our project, all the things I just taught you. You try to create out a different thing. You choose a different backdrop, a different sprite, and do repetition, because repetition is part of learning. So when you keep repeating, it makes you understand it better. Okay, and then you can just create anything without even looking at any video or any slide, out of your own head, out of your own creativity. Okay, all right, see you in our next class. Bye.